Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be game number 5, I believe, between our two nations, Ukraine and Finland. So this is still from the Nation Wars 3, and we're going to introduce our players very quickly. Saral, My Insanity, representing Finland, and his opponent is Cass, who is on Team Cascade, and he is representing the Ukraine. So a Zerg versus Terran is what we have. It is still Legacy of the Void, the newest expansion of all, and honestly I think probably one of the coolest ones so far. And let's see how this game develops. The game is far too loud because I of course was editing before this. Let's bring that down. Looks like we have a standard opening here from Cass. I'm going to start off potentially with 1 or 2 Reapers just to do a bit of scouting. And as usual, of course, if you haven't seen the previous games, I really suggest clicking on the links below in the description to go and see those. There is already 4 games that you've missed, which of course if you have missed, then that would kind of suck to start off here, because there will be spoilers very shortly. So let's see, he sees that there is an expansion coming out here, and he's going to of course see that there is going to be a pool coming down straight after that. And at that point, he's going to know the timing. He knows exactly what this is. One pool into one hatchery into a pool. And there we go. Here is the Reaper. Let's see what it does with that. Now, the scores are about to be presented onto the screen. Let's have a look. Saral is representing Finland, so that's going to be 3. And Cass is going to be representing Ukraine, and he is at 2. So 3-2. Sorry, am I making this wrong? I think it's 2 apiece. Okay, yes, so I did confirm that. That is indeed the score, 2 apiece. I do apologize for that. That's a bit unprofessional of me. So there we go. It looks like we have the Reaper on the way. There is actually metabolic boost being made quite early here, which is all fine and well. Let's see how he's going to use that. A few Zerglings coming out as well. Just 6, which is the typical number just for a bit of defense. Now let's see if Cass's Reaper control is going to be as good as MMA's, because of course he needs to do as much damage as possible with this one Reaper. Let's see how he manages. I do believe, oh, he hasn't actually taken out even a single Zergling yet, so unfortunately all he's used this Reaper for is scouting at the moment, so of course very acceptable considering he hasn't lost it yet. Now, one thing to note, he has stopped production of Reapers. He's now going into a factory and potentially going to see a 1-1-1 coming after that. Now, double racks or double gas is on the map as well, so going to be interesting to see what he's going to do with that. It looks like we have a bunker coming off here, so he's creating this long ass path which essentially prevents the Zerglings from just running straight into the main base. Not that there isn't a block here already, but it's very difficult to deal with this as Zerg, because let's for example say that you have some siege tank here. If you didn't have this wall, the siege tank would have to be up here, and then it would have very little time to attack the Zerglings that are running up like this. If the build is the way it is right now, and the siege tank is up here, then not only does the tank have all of this time to nuke, then it has this, then it has this, then it has this. Now, if the Zerglings run into a wall here and they don't decide to kill the tank, at that point they have to go all the way back, and that doubles the amount of gain that you have. So very clever building here. I think I've seen a few Terrans build this already. Looks like a 3rd base coming out as well as a Roach Warren for Saral. So doing pretty good so far. Building up that economy. There is that siege tank, and as you can see, there we go. The actual range of that siege tank pretty much covering the whole path around this. The only thing is the Zerglings can go around like this and just, you know, cut out a little bit of the running, but that is a waste of time for him. Looks like we have a Viking here that is potentially just going to be used to kill off a few overlords. Honestly, I'm not seeing it being used as pretty much anything else. Looks like Stim is on the way also for our Terran player, and there we go. Overlords are going to start getting taken out, and let's see how much damage these do. It's about 30-ish damage altogether. Okay, so it seems to be 24 or 18. I think it's 18, yeah. So there we go. We do have another Commentator coming down, so it looks like Cass. Interesting in going for a 3-base defense here. So that means that he's really thinking of macroing right now. He doesn't have that much production capability, but at the same time looks like he's going for the reactor onto the starport, which suggests either of course double medevac or double liberators. Probably going to be seeing, honestly I wouldn't be surprised to see a liberator. There's 3 gases on the field right now, but let's see what he's going to make with that. Does look like he's gone for a medevac actually. And building more backs as well. There's a gathering of Zerglings here. Look at this creep spread, by the way. 5.5 minutes. And he's got quite a far creep spread here already. So he's definitely focusing on that. Wants to get that vision. Gonna potentially bring it all the way here if this continues like this. At this point, this base is so difficult to break through. And you can see that he's preparing for that base because of the fact that he's making so many workers, even though he's already oversaturated on both bases. Orbital command almost complete here. And siege tank is now on the map. Let's see what goes on here. Big hits onto those Zerglings, getting them pretty much all taken out. There we go. The creep has now spread right through the middle of the map. At this point, wow, these creep queens doing their job so well. Have to commend here Sorrel, doing very well on the creep spread. It's already at the Terran base. And the Terran, of course, does not want to waste scans to bring out or to destroy creeps, because that just feels like a bit of a waste. Sometimes, of course. I mean, if you have a bunch of them, it's worth it, but right now, looking at this energy count, it's not a huge amount that he has. Level 1 ranged and carapace upgrades going down for the Zerg player here. And looks like shield, weapon, and armor coming down for Cass as well. So both players obviously preparing their armies. They're not thinking of engaging just yet. Currently trying to build up, trying to get those upgrades, and of course that is going to play out and kind of even things out if both of them start building the same things. Okay, so he's aware that this is currently already up until here. Sees the siege tank getting or attacking him. At this point there is what, 3 siege tanks? 4 siege tanks. So it will be very difficult to break this, no matter how many Zerglings, Roaches and Ravagers you have. That will be extremely difficult to break. So it looks like we have Infestors coming out as well. There's 3 of them in production right now. It looks like he's actually going to go around here the long way. So going to potentially go for that 3rd base. Try to deny it. Try to maybe do a bit of worker harassment. Let's see. Supply count is actually about even for both players, which unfortunately for the Zerg player is gonna be meaning that he is at a disadvantage here. That is really weird. That creep spread. Just a tad bit weird. And look at this creep spread, wow. Obviously at this point Cass not interested in actually throwing out scans for this. Look at the amount of creep there is. He'd definitely be able to clean all this up quite fast. I mean, if he threw a scan right here, he could clean all of this area up, and that would be quite a big hit. I mean, these queens are still doing their job. They're walking around, creeping pretty much everything, and there we go. This is the purpose of the creep, basically. I mean, obviously the engage was kind of spotted when the whole thing went out here, or when they attacked the Overlord, but, you know, even if they didn't attack the Overlord, he'd see them from this point on, which of course is quite important. So if you didn't notice, there was a scan here just to basically clear out those creep tumors. That cleared out as far as here, but these ones are still alive, so they're going to potentially, if they decide to move up here, it's going to be very difficult for Cass to deal with this later. The one thing you don't want to do is let the Zerg creep run a little bit too rampant. If you do that, at that point, you'll be denied bases pretty much all the time. So if he brings it up here, that means the 4th base for Cass is going to be denied. If he goes over here, that's actually one base that I very rarely see being built, probably because it's so close to this choke. And there we go, just a bit of puck shots going down. I do think that's not a great idea here against the siege tank. There's so many siege tanks on the field right now. Let's have a quick look at those. 7 siege tanks in total. And there's one more being produced as well. Level 2 weapons and armor going down for bio units. Also ranged for Zerg has just completed. Carapace also on the way. There's level 2 attack going down, and as you can see, we have Ultralisks. So this is going to be an all-out tech game from our Zerg player Saral. Bunch of Ultralisks also being queued up here. As you can see, level 3 also on the way for ranged attacks. So he's definitely interested in doing this in one big push. He's obviously decided to not go for the huge harassment. No Mutalisks. And of course no run-bys, because you can't really run past this many Marines. And by the way, question of the series is very much applying here. How do you feel about what is going on right now? A bunch of Marines, a bunch of tanks, and that's pretty much it. Now there's a few Liberators here, which I suppose you don't even see every day, or in every game. But Liberators, Marines, and Siege Tanks. How do you feel about this? Leave your comments below, and we'll see what kind of opinion we have. Oh, look at these 2 Liberators getting taken out with the Yoink ability. Actually, look at that. They're not actually being destroyed until now. Oh my god, across the biles hitting his own units here. And this is definitely a position that Soral does not want to be in. He does not want to engage in this super tight choke. Zerg always wants to be out in the open, basically surrounding his opponents as much as possible. But chokes like this are not going to end well. Looks like a drop here off in the main base. Gonna take out a few SCVs, but there we go, the engage going off here. A few Marines were actually sent to their deaths completely here. Not quite sure what the purpose of that was. Maybe just to wear those ultras down a little bit. Looks like we have... Is that a parasitic bomb? No, what is the skill? I actually don't know it. That's funny. Ah, I see. That's the... I can't remember what it's called, but it basically prevents units from attacking inside it. Now what is going on with this? This has actually been, looks like cleaned up at this point. And they've now been dropped in here. So taking out more and more SCVs at this point. Let's have a quick look at the SCVs lost. 14 SCVs lost. The engage is going out here as well. Actually looks like Cass is just continuously sending more and more small groups of units. Honestly, I don't know what the purpose of it is, because he is losing those very, very quickly. And there's a big surround here. So basically the Zerg player is just waiting for Cass to go through. Look at the surround. Group here, and group here. He's essentially waiting for somebody to get out of position. And wow, this aggression is just continuing on with the roaches. More and more. And honestly, I don't know why is Cass not using scans on this. I mean, there's still roaches here. A total of 22 SCVs that are now being destroyed. And look at that, more and more going down now. Is he going to cop on to what's going on? I honestly don't know. One of them getting taken out, manages to put... He's actually putting up a missile turret instead of using scans. So he's interested more in getting the mules rather than... Oh my god, 2 siege tanks pulled in here, and that is going to be absolutely horrific for Cass to lose. Almost actually lost in an ultras there, but that's quite alright. But as I was saying there, it seems like Cass is more interested in muling rather than using workers up. Because he's getting all of that damage done onto him, and every time that somebody comes around, look at this, such a nice run by here, just doing so much damage. And how is Cass going to respond to this? He's in this tight choke in the middle of the map. I honestly think he needs to get out of it already, maybe go around, deny one of the bases, because look at Soral, he's just going rampant here. He's got 3 more bases that I'm going to assume Cass doesn't know about. There you go, he's actually not even aware of those bases. So right now, he is a lot further behind than he thinks. Let's have a quick look at the income. More than double on minerals and about 5 or 6 times on gas. So right now, honestly, I think it's just a matter of time. It seems that Cass just not using his scans as much as he should. And he's really quickly getting mined out as well. And I have to point out, Cass is a professional. He does have quite a nice history actually. He hasn't come first in anything significant, but he has come in, I think it was 3rd and 4th places in some tournaments that won him about $1,500 to $2,000 in each of those tournaments. But honestly, I think that he is underperforming here. I don't know if it's panic or if it's stress or maybe he's not feeling well, but he's definitely not in great form right now. Now notice Soral is over 200 supply right now. Actually not sure how that happened. It's definitely something interesting. And there we go. Broodlords are now on the field. These siege tanks gonna have to be lifted off and just basically brought on out of here. I think that all remains at the moment is for Soral to just move out and attack this. Looks like a second spire coming out actually. Purpose of the spire is probably for upgrades, because of course the greater spire can only produce 1 upgrade at a time. And this command center... Now one thing I know about Cass, by the way, he's actually grown his popularity through ladder. So his style of play is very defensive and very passive as well. So obviously when he's playing against random people on ladder, he doesn't know these players. He's playing against random people, he doesn't know their styles. So the only way for him to play is being very, very cautious. Now obviously that is not really paying off for him right now. He's getting absolutely outplayed here, I would say, by Sorrel. Just completely outplayed. I think he needs a lot more ghosts to deal with this as well. Oh my god, so much damage onto these Broodlords. The Terrans going out, and there's a lot of fungal growths going down. It does look like there's an engage here. A big drop of Marines here. Is he going to lift those off? That was actually not too bad, but unfortunately not responding to it in time. Looks like he has been warded off here, but is he going to do more harassment onto one of the bases at this point? I think that unless he can manage to shut down all of these bases altogether, he's going to very, very quickly start falling behind here. There we go, the engage here from the main army. Looks like Broodlords. There's only a few Broodlords, but they are getting taken out by these Liberators. All of them now have been destroyed, and I think that is it. Cass finally calling GG there. I think that has been over for about 5 or 6 minutes at this point, so a little bit unfortunate, but Cass getting defeated in this one. Okay, and that's pretty much it. I hope you have enjoyed this game. Please let me know, of course, if you did, with a nice thumbs up below. And our question of the series is still, what do you feel about Marine and tank pushes? We saw one right there. It unfortunately didn't actually pay off for him at all. I think he wasn't aggressive enough with it. And that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in game number, looks like 6. See you guys there. Good luck, have fun, and take care of yourself.